Tin soldiers, what is your profession?
Hey everybody, it's Tin Plated. I'm Sean.
I'm Rob, and this is Tin Plated Talks, episode 13.
Maybe. We don't count anymore. Hey. All right, jumping straight to the questions here. Not a lot this week because most of you guys were in as much a shock and awe over our audio dump's generosity as we were. But we'll just go ahead and jump straight to them. Vartius Zerotratus asks, what champions do we play in League of Legends? It's been a while since I've played, actually.
I gave up League pretty quick because I would sit here playing it in the office, and I'd hear Sean snickering over my shoulder every time I fucked up. But when I did play...
I stopped watching you. It was bad.
I had
worse than me, which is saying something.
I had 4 guys that I liked. I liked Trendemir. I enjoyed Olaf. I played Draven a lot, and then Graves was always a go-to.
I generally, once in a while, I do support, and then I do like Soraka or, actually pretty much just Soraka. I never liked Sora. Oh gosh, her name's losing me right now. The wind user.
The angel in all the armor?
No, not Kale. She was, I don't remember. But that wasn't that often. Typically, I'd either be Teemo if I was in a mood.
All the fucking time. He always played me.
Only against you, because you hated Teemo so much, so I always played Teemo.
Fucking hate Teemo.
But generally, I played, I stuck to the Vs, oddly enough. Varus, Veigar, Victor, and Vladimir. I just liked all of them. Veigar used to be my favorite for a long time. He was always my go-to. But then I got into Victor, and I liked him a lot. And Varus and Vladimir, situationally, when it looks like it'd be a good counter. Still, pretty fun. But there you go. But it's been... like half a year.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think I've played League of Legends since before we started doing Tin Plated.
I know that I played it right at the beginning because we had talked about me doing a...
Yeah.
We talked about doing... Early on in the channel, there was talk of me doing League of Legends for the channel.
Yeah. Well,
no fucking chance.
Now that you've mentioned it, people will be like, are you sure?
No fucking chance.
Well, why not?
Well, because first off, the list that we have is longer than my leg. These are games that I'm committed to, for fulfilling obligations.
League ain't going anywhere, son. It'll be around.
B, games that I want to play. And C, games that I'm not embarrassingly bad at.
All solid reasons.
See, because to me, League is just another one of those games that's come down to be so formulaic that it's not fun anymore.
League is fun when you play with people who are playing League, not trying to win League.
Yeah, every, future pro gamer out there, which, dear God, what a world we live in where that's a thing, who's crunched the goddamn numbers and is just running a spreadsheet. I'm going, fuck you, man.
And then it changes every season, so you have to keep up with all that. When I play, I typically just play ARAMs because people don't take them as seriously, and you tend to get a lot less frothing, rage-filled, hate-filled, every slur that mankind has ever known, and a few that exist only within the ecostructure of MOBA games. It's just not fun.
See, I take characters that I think look cool.
Yep.
That's my thing. It's, this guy looks cool. I like his attack. Let's roll.
Yep. Oh, well. Moving on, Brandon Williams asked simply, who's our favorite Ninja Turtle?
I've never been a huge Ninja Turtle guy because I want this one question answered. Where in a sewer do you find a katana? And if you find one katana... where in the fuck do you find a matching one?
Well, presumably a matching set was thrown out, which is odd because...
Down the toilet?
Because katana were generally not created as a matched pair. They were created as a daisho, a katana and a wakizashi. So,
but more than that, they're ridiculously brittle.
yeah.
You know, they're cheap, shitty swords because
Made
Japan
out of
had cheap, shitty iron.
Yeah. And they didn't need it because they had cheap, shitty iron, so
They
nobody
had no armor.
Exactly.
So you know he broke one of those. Where'd he get another one? Where in New York do you get Psy for Raphael?
Those are actually really, really easy to get, but you know what always bugged me? People often, think of Psy as stabbing weapons.
Well, they look like stilettos.
Well, they're not usually sharp. They're sword catchers. You were meant to wield one in your offhand as a catch,
And
basically.
twist it and snap the sword.
Exactly. And
Japanese police used to carry sword breakers like that, right?
Yep. And you could hurt someone with it because it was a solid piece of metal, but you just beat them with it. It was basically a metal fucking nightstick.
But let me ask you, if I've got something like that, could I not sharpen it and use it like a stiletto, just a fucking shank?
Shitty metal. It was better off keeping it blunt and beating the hell out of people. Plus, as you mentioned, usually a cop's weapon, where they were less interested in stabbing someone and more interested in beating them unconscious, drag them back and arrest them.
But I'm talking about for Raphael's purposes. Scrape it against a sewer rock a few hundred times, get a nice point on it.
Can't imagine it'd hold that great of an edge, but I mean, built with modern techniques, I guess it could. It's silly because you can't stab very deep because of the side prongs. Although often Sai only had one side prong, much more like a Western sword breaker, actually.
Well,
we didn't use them as often because our swords tended to be thicker, but
all of that, I mean, yeah, in the right place in the body and on the right person, an average-sized human, a puncture that's 1 inch deep is fatal.
Yeah.
So if you're getting 4 inches on the thing, and you know what you're doing, that's ribs, that's lungs.
Well, it also depends which version of the Turtles we had. Their original comic run, they were pretty dark and murderous, so yeah.
Hell yeah.
They'd shank a person in the liver. The cartoons, they might just, shout cowabunga and punch him in the stomach kind of hard.
Well, in the comics, in the cartoon, it was all about like brotherhood and being ninjas and fighting crime. In the comics, they had one fucking mission, and it opens up on the first page. What are you gonna do? Kill Shredder. Why? We don't fucking care why. You said so. I'm gonna cut a man's guts out.
Yeah, Splinter told us to.
Yeah, they're not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're Turtle Child Soldier Assassins.
It's like
fucking Coney.
Like that scene in Forrest Gump when the drill sergeant asks him what he's there to do, and he says, "Whatever you tell me to, drill sergeant." God damn it, Gump! You are a goddamn genius! If it wasn't such a waste of a fine enlisted man, I would recommend you for officer training. Now, disassemble and continue! But again, for the ridiculous weapons, another reason, plus, he was the brainy one, I liked Donatello. Because he had a wooden stick. Easy to find in a sewer, easy to replace. You broke your wooden stick? Pick up another relatively straight wooden stick.
Which made it interesting because he was the brainy one, so he'd be like, look, I've built this fusion reactor out of toilet parts to power our new hover bikes. But let me wield this wooden stick.
A very effective thing. If you've ever gotten caught with the tip of a quarterstaff, ow.
I'm just saying he could have made himself a laser pistol or a lightsaber. I liked
the stick.
I liked Raphael because there was no bullshit there. It was, I'm here to do my thing and I'm here to fuck people up. My business is breaking legs and business is good.
So there you go. There's our favorite Ninja Turtles. 101 Terror Fiends asks 2 questions. First, what do you guys think of bigger YouTube channels like PewDiePie or Smosh? No comment? I actually haven't seen anything Smosh does. I really don't.
I imagine this question was asked so that you could hear us say, shitty things about people. First off, when you have to talk about bigger YouTube channels, who isn't bigger than us? And, I mean, I'd like to make it clear, there's a lot of people on YouTube producing brilliant products. The Epic Rap Battles guys, Epic Mealtime, Rooster Teeth.
Even going to other Let's Players, not just Rooster Teeth. Total Biscuit, I like his stuff. His WTF is, anytime I'm looking for information on some obscure indie game, if Yahtzee hasn't said anything about it, I go see if Total Biscuit has, because he's generally pretty sound. Bit of an ass, but it works very well for what he puts out. So there you go.
Jenna Marbles makes a fine product.
I don't watch much of her stuff.
I've enjoyed it mostly because I think she's hot, but she also does good work. But when you ask me what I think of PewDiePie, I'm not a fan. I don't understand what he produces.
I don't get it either.
Yelling in a falsetto Swedish, and I'm not. It's not my thing. It apparently is the thing of every third human being on the planet.
And he's making ridiculous amounts of money doing it, so good for him. Can't fault him for finding a product people want and just handing it over. I mean, fuck.
But from a professional standpoint, I'm not a fan. I don't like what he makes, and one imagines I wouldn't like him in person. But
apparently, on the times when he drops his character, he's really not like that, and his accent isn't as thick either. He's doing a character. I mean, you can't fault the guy for that.
Yeah.
I don't like the product, but I respect the fact that he's doing something right because he's making millions off of screaming on the internet. I'd like to make millions screaming on the internet.
I'd like to make thousands, but
hundreds even.
And if that sounds,
we have made hundreds now.
True. Yeah. If that sounds watered down to you guys,
I will say this: Pewdie's girlfriend, Marja, I think, has the most obnoxious fucking voice I've ever heard.
That's truth. But if these sound watered down when you expected us to categorically list their faults and all the creative ways they could fuck themselves, frankly, it's not good business. You know, it's not like we're afraid of reprisals or anything like that. There could come a day where we have to interact with them on a professional level. I would rather them not flip through the television in the conference room and go, "Oh, so I'm a screaming, high-pitched voice asshole, huh?"
I think I would stand by that if Pewds were ever asking me if that's what I really thought, mostly because then PewDiePie would be talking to me and that would triple our viewership just because his gaze would settle upon us and our views would triple. It's just what happens.
Triple of nothing is still nothing.
I've seen some of the Game Grumps stuff. Not a lot. I'm not a regular viewer, but I like theirs just fine. Cryotic, I think I've only seen one thing and I thought it was all right. Mostly, the only YouTubers that I watch regularly are Rooster Teeth and their other channels. And I found out about him because he kept having one of his clips advertised on our channel. Mm-hmm. So I watched it. He goes by the stage name of Spoken Reasons. And he did a series called Dr. Reasons where he does couples counseling.
Oh yeah, that guy's good.
He's good. He puts out some very good stuff. I checked other stuff that All Deaf Digital put out, and I wasn't impressed, but the Spoken Reasons did some good work. And you know, who's that other guy? The one who did that video where it was Belle from Beauty and the Beast. It was called Beauty and the Beat, and it was sort of if Belle grew up in the ghetto instead of a...
Oh, shit, yeah!
That's some funny shit.
Yes, it is.
If you guys want to watch something funny after this, and I know I would, just put Beauty and the Beat in.
And don't get that Justin Bieber bullshit.
Justin Bieber crap. And it's funny as fuck.
Now, but yeah, like I said, there's the stuff that I watch on YouTube on the regular, Epic Rap Battles. I fucking adore them. I think Epic Mealtime is on something that I am jealous of, because I love to cook with liquor too. But, you know, YouTube's... Hell, for the last week, I bet I've watched a dozen times the latest... Team Fortress 2, episode. It's called Expiration Date.
Oh, the They're calling it a machinima. But
Yeah, they say it's
rendered
machinima.
it, so they didn't shoot it using Gary's Mod or TF2. They used fucking rendering software and animating software.
Now, in fairness, the latest Red vs. Blue, at least for a while now, has done motion capture.
They've done motion capture for fight scenes. They don't do it for dialogue scenes.
But it's still not straight gameplay.
It is not straight machinima anymore. They still use machinima as one of the tools. And they don't actually call RVB a machinima anymore. They just call it a web series.
Oh.
Animated web series.
But yeah, that latest by TF2 expiration date, I laugh until I cry because the writing is just so fucking good and the delivery is spot on.
I still haven't seen it yet.
We'll watch it when this is done. Now, Terrafiends also asked, other than Dark Souls, do we play any online or multiplayer games? And it's funny you should ask because we're recording this at midnight, the night before it's supposed to go up. Because we spent all fucking day playing Payday 2 because of the Steam sale.
Oh my god, that game is so awesome.
Now,
we must have murdered
now hold on, Sean.
Officer.
See, because now that you've made that soundbite, it's going to come back to us out of context.
We murdered every police officer in Washington, D.C. in pursuit of fixing an election.
Mr. NSA agent screening this.
We mean everything we just said.
When he's in Gitmo getting that red hot poker shoved up his ass, I'm not involved.
Promises.
But
other online multiplayer games at the moment, not really, other than that. We've been playing a little TF2 because we've been getting ready for the
game night.
Game night we're going to do.
I mean, I'm looking forward to Star Citizen, and I played WoW back in the day.
WoW never really got me. I played it in the beta. I played it when Burning Crusade came out. Played it when Wrath of the Lich King came out, but I played Eve real hard for a while. Never got anywhere with it because I'm a terrible altaholic. So I'd keep putting my skills into vastly different things as opposed to specializing in anything and getting good at it. Dragon Realms, which I haven't played in a long time. If I ever have time again, I probably will, but I sink hours, days, weeks into Dragon Realms without ever getting a chance to
bathe,
come up for air. But other than that, no, I'm not really. I don't do shooters online or anything like that. TF2 is an exception, but that's not really in the same neighborhood as your Halos and your Call of Duties and your Battlefields.
Right.
It's another world.
A lot of the multiplayer that we do is just located here in our house. Like we have a house Minecraft server.
Yeah.
You know, or we'll be in opposite rooms yelling to each other the plans to rob this bank in Payday. It's, you know, I'm going for this, I'm covering you.
Yeah.
I imagine it must be hell if you're not playing with us, just have to sit there and listen to us yell back and forth, but oh well.
Although we did make the observation, the last mission that they came out with for Payday was actually a prequel for Left 4 Dead. The mission was called No Mercy, and your job was to get a sample from Patient Zero at Mercy Hospital, the same one of the No Mercy mission in Left 4 Dead. And you get the sample in Payday, and at the end, your escape plan goes wrong, and your fixer actually says, in a total lampshading of what you're doing, says, "I'm sorry, guys, I can't do anything more for you. You've been left for dead."
Now, that is a pretty cool, just a reference, and you get that sometimes. What is even better is when you can take it another step. And a lot of people don't know this, but the movie Cabin in the Woods was originally meant to have a Left 4 Dead tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
All the zombie types in Left 4 Dead were
infected. They're technically not zombies.
They were all going to make an appearance in the end of Cabin in the Woods. And it got pulled at the end because they're like, look, we think this movie will be successful, so fuck you. But that means Payday, Left 4 Dead, and Cabin in the Woods all exist in the same universe.
And if you look at the way the heists work in Payday, things sort of start to come together because If you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, watch it. So I'm going to try to skirt around something.
Well, why don't we just say, spoiler warning, come back in 3 minutes.
If you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, come back in about 15 seconds.
Now, since we all know that the shadowy cabal that controls all the sacrifices can manipulate crazy things in the real world...
And tries to make things look like they are in the horror movies.
Think about Payday, where everything works out like the movies.
Like Heat, or Dog Day Afternoon, or any other heist film. Real crimes don't happen that way, but in Payday, they sure as shit do. So what if all of that is staged in a similar reason?
Yeah, makes you...
That'll bake your noodle.
Makes you think. All right, so to those of you that haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, welcome back. You should probably see that. I gather you have the internet, so you must not live in too deep of a cave.
It's probably still on Netflix.
Oh, it absolutely is still on Netflix.
Watch it. It's good. You don't like horror movies? I don't care. Watch it. It's not really a horror movie.
No, it is a...
It's a good movie.
It's an examination of the horror movie culture. But, now this next part, there's no good segue.
Oh, there's a perfectly good segue. It's just a matter of no one person asked these questions.
Right. The thing is, people tend to like my stories. And because no one asked any good questions this week, or there were good ones, just not enough, Sean said, well, do you have any more stories? And, well, there's always more because I am old enough to have had considerable numbers of adventures.
Yeah.
I have a couple of scars on my knee, and the newest ones are from a night of drinking, and the one before them was from a night of drinking.
A night of drinking. I think this most recent night of drinking, calling it drinking is an understatement. It was not drinking. It was an assault on your liver, as though it had insulted your family to 6 generations back, and an attempt to consume the very concept of ethanol.
I put a hurt on it, and at some point somebody produced a knife, so I just flipped it around and stabbed it into my knee, which I did not feel. And in fact, the tip of that knife is still embedded in my patella. Shit happens when you party with Rob.
Yeah.
But
don't forget the part where you bellowed, "I am all that is man."
Now, I might have also been stark naked and standing on our porch yelling this at the neighbors.
Yeah.
So, again, things happen when you party with Rob.
But, so, from the scars on your knee that aren't from drinking-related escapades...
There is one. The first knee scar I ever got. Mm-hmm. It's from a penguin.
You mean like the Batman villain?
No.
Did a wealthy but deformed short squat man attack you with an umbrella?
Got something on my pants. It's really bugging the piss out of me. Should do laundry more often. No, the little bird. I was working at a zoo. I won't mention the zoo for legal reasons. and my gig at the time, one of the things was I was tasked to the bird people for a little while. I worked all over. I have a sloth story. You guys will have to remind me to tell you someday that's pretty fucking good. But,
yeah, we don't have time for a sloth story right now. It'd be way too slow.
But no, there really is a sloth story. But so they tell me, here's what you got to do. The little penguins make their nest in these little cat boxes. Every once in a while, you got to clean the cat box. No big deal. That's all they tell me. So I grab the first cat box, I take it back behind the enclosure, and I'm cleaning it. And what they neglected to tell me is apparently the penguins don't really care for you touching their cat box. As a matter of fact, they straight fucking hate it. So I'm just cleaning, and this penguin waddles up to me, and I look down, and it's, well, hey, little guy, what's up? I go back to cleaning. This little feathery bastard rears his head back and rips a chunk right out of my fucking knee. So I go down squealing, oh, fuck! It bit me! And
Did it bite you or did it peck you?
A chunk came out of my knee. Now...
That sounds like a peck, actually. A peck sort of pinches and rips.
But when you think of pinching, you think of a small amount. It was the size of the tip of my pinky. It took a piece.
Num num num.
And, I'm howling, and the main, bird person comes, they're like, oh, yeah, sorry about that, I should have told you. They really don't like it when that happens. Well, fuck. So they wrap my knee up, and I go back to what I'm doing, and the zoo isn't open yet.
Now,
So I walk back, and the cat box is going these little fake rocks, because of all the species of penguin, 15 live in warm climates.
mm-hmm.
This was one that did. And this penguin's sitting on top of this rock looking so fucking proud, just squawking away at having gotten one over on old Robb.
Prancing about with his head full of eyeballs.
Yeah, matter of fact, he was. So, I decided, well, I'll be a goddamned if fucking little bird's gonna get one over on me. Now, I was behind schedule, so the zoo was open.
Yeah.
And I would piece this part of the story together at lunch from various sources who had seen parts of it. There was a young man it was his birthday.
Yeah.
And his mommy brought him to the zoo. And this young man had a special affinity for penguins. He just loved them. So he had got there right when the zoo opened. He had run straight from the ticket kiosk to the penguin enclosure. And he had pressed his face against the glass to gaze upon their majesty. And what should he see but me get a double baseball grip on this cat box, swing for the fucking fences, and hit this penguin as hard as I possibly can into the air. I mean, I went... Dun, 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 bam! And this thing goes fucking flying. And I'm like, hey, I went yard on that one. And the penguin manages to turn it into like a dive when it hits the water. I look over and all I see is this kid doing his best Macaulay Culkin impression ever. And goes running off. And here was the best part. His mom had just finished paying for the tickets when he runs up and goes, Mommy, 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 the man hit the penguin, the man hit the penguin. And she, as from the ticket seller, goes, now, little whatever, if you keep making up stories, we're going to leave the zoo. And I'm like, now that's how a kid gets trust issues. Because I really did knock the absolute piss out of this penguin.
You got in a fight with a penguin.
And I fucked it up.
Well, it sounds like you're the one with the scar and it landed gracefully in the water. Its natural habitat.
It got hit with something that... It would be like me picking up this room and wailing on you. I hit this fucking bird.
Well, force doesn't really scale that way. Same reason, like, a spider can fall from the ceiling and not splatter.
I always wondered about that.
Well, yeah, the same amount of force transfers that would if we fell that far. It's nothing. All right. Let's get us kind of close to the end, but we've got a handful of announcements for this week. If you are not part of our forum, you can get there at tinplated.com/forum, and you should do that. Because we're going to be making an announcement about game night this week on the forum. You should go there if you want to know about it. On other website-related news, we have more planned. I'm still trying to learn the code and the system and everything. Forum's up, running. We've only got 3 sections on it right now because I think that's sufficient for our needs at the moment. But if you guys would tell us what else you might want to see on the website, my abilities are not without limits, but we can take things into consideration. We'll see what we can do. If you haven't been following our stuff, we are going to do another Dark Souls 2 PvP-based live stream on the 4th of July. We were doing that at 2?
2 or 3. Something nice in the afternoon. But before that, we have something that's for next Saturday, the 28th, that I can absolutely positively guarantee you on a stack of Bibles, Qurans, Torahs, and comic books, the holiest of all texts, that you will not, cannot, and shall not find anywhere but on this channel. It exists only in the vacuum that is the tin-plated universe.
We won't spoil too much for you, but I just want to... some years back, my wife was involved in a project. And said project, things happened, things developed. There is a final product. And the final product is so closely guarded by its producers that they just handed the rights over to us when we asked for them. And we're going to give it to you guys. It's going to be an experience.
We're the only source. You've never seen it before, and you'll never see it again.
I think up until this point, perhaps 30 people have seen this. 10 of them being people we've showed it to. 10 of them being the people who made it. And the other 10 being the people who paid to have it made. And now might be in jail because the government shut their company down for fraud and illegal business practices. Which is another reason it was so easy to get the rights from the people they paid, because they didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore.
But if you want to know what it is, you'll have to tune in and find out. So that's the Saturday, the 28th.
Yep. And that's all we got for you guys. As always, thank you for leaving your comments and your questions. Please leave us any comments or questions you have here. Check out our forum. That's tinplated.com/forum. Go to our Twitter page, our Facebook page, our Snapchats, our Instagrams, our Hoozle Diggles, our friend faces, all those things. We appreciate it. It helps us out quite a bit. Like, comment, subscribe, and all this other social media stuff that you've heard a million times before, but we're going to keep reminding you because
we want to get rich.
It works. So we're going to keep telling you. But thank you again for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.